Final here, of course, 8 years ago to be precise. They've also had some memorable Six Nations moments on this ground and not always going their own way. And whilst we cannot argue that tonight has the extra edge of those occasions, given what's just around the corner, this is a very important night in England's 2015 World Cup preparations. For France, about to come out of their changing room, here's a team that needs a win, and against big league opposition as well, given that France's major pull test at the Rugby World Cup should be Ireland in Cardiff. The Irish currently ranked number 2 in the world. It would not bode well if Chris Robshaw's men beat France on their patch tonight. History tells us that France's World Cup dreams would not be broken. Crikey, they lost to Tonga last time and nearly won the thing. But another loss would clearly not be good news for a team that has got used to losing. This the World Cup way, to line up alongside each other in the tunnel. And Pascal Pape back into the side to lead the team here in Paris. Here they come.
The World Cup looks likely to be fought over the breakdown battleground. Cue Joe Launchbury, England's outstanding turnover operator. Lacking the back row specialists of New Zealand, Australia and South Africa, England's breakdown needs to be a collective effort. The Wasp will be at its very heart. As for France, well, keep an eye out for Eddie Benarous. Is the loose head prop going to prove the future of French front row play? The 24-year-old is fast emerging as one of the most powerful scrummagers France has produced in years. And watch him cover the ground, he can really shift.
Here come the anthems. It's a crackling atmosphere. Replacements. And Jamie George at hooker, a first cap awaits, a big night awaits. Luke Cowan-Dickie, having failed to hit the mark when he came on last week. Nick Easter in for his first involvement of this mini-series. It's also got the feel of Last Chance Saloon for Atwood, Cipriani and 12 Trees.
Well, 5th choice until Dylan Hunt for the World Cup. He saw the door of opportunity open wide last week, and I reckon he has the technique and the temperament to storm through it here in the capital of France.
England's record here at the Stade de France, not bad at all really. France have 6 victories, England 4. Because last week was the 100th meeting between these two. England doing enough to get the win. 1914, doing more than enough with those tries. Some excellent scores. It's sort of hanging on at the end.
Gael Fickou, 2014, broke England's heart with a late match-winning score. Breaks haven't gone his way since. He needs a little bit more of that magic if he is to make the French squad.
If we know which way.
Jaco Pijper is the referee, as he will be on the opening night of the Rugby World Cup when England meet Fiji. An awful lot of these England players in tonight's 23 will be there for that one as well. And this evening will determine in what shape they will be in and who'll be going with them on the journey. Early touch there for Michalak, wearing 10, but quite happy, of course, given his history, to step in as the 9. There's the real 9, scrum half Sebastian Tiersport, the Toulon pairing. Early touch for Billy Vunipola, but the flag is up. And that's a good gain for France.
Fantastic kick from Tiersport there. I think he's one of the most underestimated players in France. He was very much the chaperone, you know, to Johnny Wilkinson in the last few years in Toulon. Wilkinson got all the glory, but he did a lot of the hard work. One of the key features of his game is his box kicking, but that is a fantastic game from a narrow angle.
Key feature of England's game has to be this throwing into the line-out. Tom Young's very reliable in club rugby, we know that. Had his moments internationally, but and a lot of really good moments as well, both in England colours, in Lion colours as well. Out of the side from Vunipola, who's lost a stone, still a giant, but he's never felt fitter, he says. Thrown back in, so Ford just goes down the middle. Here's Scott Spedding, big fullback. Made 4 appearances in the Six Nations. And there's an advantage here to the home side with LaRue. Back goes Ben Youngs, that's covered. So the referee, Piper, will return for that penalty.
Luther Burrell, the man penalised. George Ford went downfield, offering Spedding the opportunity to run it back. He did just that. Big tackle first of all, but there you can see the Northampton centre, too slow to roll away, and Piper penalised him, arm up very quickly to give the penalty. It's also going to be really useful for England tonight having Jaco Piper referee, because against Fiji, you know, a game that can just break up when you play the Pacific Islanders, you want to know as much as you can about the way a referee referees the game. Really advantageous, I think, for England having the South African referee tonight.
France will get him as well in their pool against Romania. Maybe not quite the same significance. The referee's role that day, that will be a game that France will be expected to win, and win well.
That's a tremendous tackle by Burrell, but you know, no doubt at all, he did roll away slowly, and England do need to eliminate all these breakdown errors.
So it's Spedding from a long way out. He's France's big boot, and he's certainly got the distance. He's got it all right. Everything about it. Scott Spedding, the man from Krugersdorp in South Africa, and they love him here in Paris.
England go very quick.
Out on the full.
Too quick. Ford went for the half kick that Dan Carter has mastered so much, but he was so hurried in it, he just didn't quite get the weight of it right. Little error there. Also quite interesting, is it though? England 3-0 down. The first thing they wanted to do wasn't settle themselves, was accelerate the game.
So it wasn't the cleanest of line-outs from England. What about this first scrum? Two question marks about the England performance up front last week. If there's any reason to panic, England haven't become a poor forward side overnight. Look at the turf cutting up there. Both sides suffering, causing that collapse up front. And that could be dangerous, it really could. No hand! Big chunks of turf taken out there. There's LaRue, another one of the South African imports. Mike Brown does not for the mark. Knew he had time. Back in the side after those concussion issues. Hasn't played since March.
You could see the Parisian turf cutting up there. Pretty powerful scrum there from France. Collapses early, and that has not been a theme of international rugby in the last month or so. The scrums have been very competitive, but they've stayed up, and I'll be hoping that Jaco Piper can keep it that way today. England, of course, last week predominantly a second stroke third team pack, but they will have been worried by the failure of people who will be replacements in the World Cup to make an impact.
Tiersport just warned to get away there by the referee. Numbers right at the line out, and the half-back not standing in the half-back position there. Often the case these days. Referee quite kind to point it out before France made the offence.
Stop.
Again, often the case these days. Michalak, crossfield kick. Auger went up with Johnny May. Has gone forward off the Toulouse man, Johan Auger.
It's going to be much more of a test for Johnny May today. Came through with flying colours last week, but Auger has tormented England in the last few years. Very powerful man, physical, gets up in the air. He's got great feet and he's a deadly finisher. I think he's pretty close to world class when you talk about wingers, that man.
Try last week, 2 for Anthony Watson.
Yeah, Auger will fear May's pace. May be worried about Auger's presence and power.
Turf holding up away from the centre spot, and England getting the penalty. That will please the forwards no end, and in comes Burrell and George Ford as well, just to slap a few backs to say well done. That was an important moment. They enjoyed that.
Well, you saw Tom Young's arm go up in the air, and often that's a sign for a team struggling. But the South African referee's decision is France weren't straight. Eddie Benarous in particular in on the angle, and that split England, hence the penalty. Oh, that's a bad start. Ford's missed touch.
Ford missing his touch. And Auger sets off. Just lost his footing there. Tiersport. Leroux was sliding around, wasn't he? Such a warm, dry day. Still very warm the evening. It'll be a tough workout for the players, but then that's what the summer camps were for. Ford's missed that one. Been a shaky start for the England fly half, and this could put England on the back foot here. Nakatathi's gone wide now. He was hovering. Goes Bastereau, and through and on goes Schulich.
Right.
Tiersport, Michalak. Plenty of French players on that far side. One of them Fofana. Michalak. I think that's the captain carrying Pape. Did it well. It'll roll on. Gain an extra metre or two of the momentum. All with his side here. Bastereau involved again. Inside that England 22 now. Ball's clean for Tiersport. Crowd enjoying this. Strong start from France. Michalak. Taken by Fofana, Nice Auger and Leroux. Pape there again. Through comes Marler. Referee waves it on. Maestri. Buried underneath all of that. He gets it back to a colleague. In goes Ben Youngs. Thinks he might rip this away. Nico Piper doesn't like what he sees.
Balls up, but you can't come from the side. No. Number 3 came around the side. Balls up, they came around the side.
Well, Dan Cole penalised for coming around from the side, and that's another penalty at the contact area, and it's another chance for France to kick the points and to go 6-0 up. Initially, from the previous breakdown, Joe Marler did really well. The ball came out and his timing was super, but there you can see Dan Cole. I mean, saying he's come around from the side is almost generous. He's tried to come in from the French way there.
Young seemed to have control of the situation. In comes Cole, clearly from an offside position. Penalty given away. Should be 6-0.
It's a pretty poor pass to Wes Fofana. He did very well to hold on to it.
Closer range, change of kicker. Freddie Michalak. And there it is. Just needs another point now to break the French record. Let's go down the pitch side and Will.
Yes, Miles, just thinking about the fly-half debate, Ford v Farrell. Everyone assumes, obviously, George Ford's attacking game. At the moment, just lacking a little bit of control. Kick straight out, missed touch from a penalty. Didn't get anywhere near high ball. Away in Paris, just now needs to show a little bit of composure. We know he's the best attacking fly-half we've got, but can he control the game?
Let's see about this restart. It's dangerously close to the touchline, but Noel arrived for England to make the tackle in field. Just. Swapping the French halfbacks in that traditional French way.
Yes. Ball's out.
Board back there to kick. This time not quite the gain.
You know, it's very interesting what Will was saying there about George Ford, because people who have watched this England team for a couple of years will have noted how often they start a game badly. Sometimes they try to control themselves and they're slow off the mark. Other times they want to go out, they come out like greyhounds out of the traps and they just can't get it going. When you kick off, your adrenaline goes, you need to slow down, calm down.
Runs, throws, and it's back on the French side. Stolen line out. Michelak. What can Mike Brown do from here? Use that big left boot of his to find Louis Picamoles. He's shed a bit of weight as well, the French number 8. And looks in superb shape. Charged down by Launchbury. Didn't know too much about it, but his big frame got in the way. With Michelak's loose kick, Bastereau clears it up. For his fellow Toulon man, another French penalty.
Not supportive of your weight. Way beyond your weight, on your arms.
Well, England are being murdered at the breakdown here, and I think every time the decisions are right. It'll be interesting to hear what Pat Sanderson has to think of it, former England captain in the back row. But that's 3 breakdowns, 3 contact points, 3 penalties, France.
Well, discipline was an issue for England last week, penalties given away. And this one finds its touch, and let's find out from Pat Sanderson what he's thinking about.
Well, there's been much talk of the back row and the balance and I guess the lack thereof of an out-and-out 7 like a Stefan Armitage. But all the back 3 look very, or the back row look very, very upright. And to address that balance, you've got to look to the rest of the team. And here you see Launchbury and Cole trying to address the lack of natural presence on the floor from the back row. Now, it matters more when you have a Southern Hemisphere referee. They favour the breakdown, unlike the Northern Hemisphere referees, which like set piece. It's a big, big test on the floor for England tonight, and right now they are second best.
It's led to another excellent attacking position for France. Gerardo, well, he did it right, it just went through the hands. Still with France. So no loss of possession on their part of the lineup. 1 out, big men. Robshaw makes another tackle, but Gerardo is in there, and now Eddie Benarous, the complete prop, really. Tremendous around the park. Bastereau always felt we'd quite like to have been a prop. He's tremendous too around the park with that power game. Pascal Pape in there. Cole's got to watch that. He's given 1 penalty away. Slimani. Now he can play both sides of the scrum, very useful in a World Cup squad. England looking for one of those. Maestri again. Oh, that's a good carry. Over 17 stone of him. Now the chip on Mike Brown. Got his hands and his fingertips up there into the sky, and that is fine work from the England full-back.
A super play from France as well. They controlled that ball really well. They picked and drove, and the little chip from Chillis Board was an absolute beauty. Michelak had gone back into Drado of the post. Very clever kick. There you can see the 2 of them in tandem, 2-on-1. Brown has to take that or it's 13-0 France. Superb play. You saw Uge beat May to the ball. Brown does brilliantly there.
That is a great catch, isn't it?
And again, credit to to France. Tillis Balder started very well. His management of the game around the fringes good. His kicking is getting length, and that was a devilish little chip close to the line.
And Brown having the presence of mind as well to call for the mark.
Yeah, or he was in big trouble, wasn't he? This is very much how France started the first 5 minutes last week and played most of the second half, shading the set piece until the last 20. They dominated it, but with that control, really picking and driving well and making England look very much second best physically. And you can see there it's all France in terms of ball control.
And the meters they're making as well, another advantage here. Offside against the England back line, right in front. I think we know what Michalak is going to do. He's going to break the record.
I was going to say England now conceded 4 penalties.
Number 8. The whole back line rolled up.
Yeah, absolutely right. England's discipline is very poor at the moment.
The boost there for James Haskell, who was denying France the ball.
The quick tap that they were never going to take. Just watch Billy Vunipola lead the line there. Oh, that's awful. Really, that was pretty amateur. It's pretty amateurish. It's very sloppy from England. It's sharp from France. It's organised. It's powerful. But England at the moment are making life far easier for the home team than they would like.
Christophe Lamaison, 380 points. Freddie Michalak alongside him now after his 3 already tonight. And there he is, in front. Nobody has scored more points in French Test rugby history than that man. Freddie Michalak made his debut all those years ago, 2001. So it's a long career, just about the longest as well, in a French shirt.
Well, he was the superstar, wasn't he, leading into 2003. He cracked under the pressure in the rain of the semi-final. His career seemed to be sliding away, but what credit to him, he's back again.
Noah Nakatathi with the take again on the restart in his Pape. Of course, Nakatathi was the man who nearly didn't put the ball down at Twickenham. Continue running into the North Stand. It's a tight call in March. That free-flowing 55-35 win by England. Never thought I'd live to say that scoreline. What a day that was. Vunipola quickly, and Ford and Brown and Johnny May. As England need to find a route back here. And calling for the mark is record man Michalak, the man that you feel Saint-Andre would love to come through and make that jersey his own.
He is. I mean, we sometimes overuse the word maverick, but if it was written for anyone, it's that man, Freddie Michalak. Remember against Haskell, Wasp flanker, Michalak played delightfully in the quarter-final of the European Champions Cup. The semi-final against Leinster, he was terrible. Now that tackle by the Wasp Haskell, I think, was just about the first one-on-one physical collision where England have come out on top against France so far. I mean, I don't think it's an exaggeration to say this is a really poor start from England.
And Haskell came on last week and did some great work, turnover work.
It's not straight.
That's not straight.
Option. Scrum, line out. No, scrum. It's not straight.
France are getting into England. One of the things they're doing as well, they're getting men off the ground as Olivier Magnier looks on. Doesn't look that impressed, but I think he'll be pleased with the way his French pack are going. They're getting men off the ground, and when you can do that, that does put pressure on a hooker. I know Tom Young's figures are much better playing club rugby, but this is another environment, and when the pressure comes on, that's when he has to prove it.
How long's the Dylan Hartley suspension for?
Fine.
September the 19th, but I can't see Stuart Lancaster changing his mind there any more than I can see Stephen Armitage coming back.
Well, Youngs has got time to get this sorted out. England have got time, but they can't afford this to become a growing problem to the point where it gets out of all proportion. Mike Brown had a chance to move it, opted to take on the tacklers. Ben Youngs, Tom's brother at scrum half, and George Ford puts it high. Jonathan Joseph, hardly seen him so far. Dearsport had time to get away. Slimani.
Tarak, you can't pick it up.
Another penalty.
Front forward.
It's not a crisis for England because it's not the World Cup and it's a warm-up game, but I mean, one thing I will say, I would imagine that Lancaster, Farrell, Rowntree and company would be quite pleased that they've met up with Jacko Piper now, because they cannot read the referee's mind at breakdown at all. They're trying to play at pace, but all they're doing is playing into the hands of France at the moment.
Quickly before the kick, we go
due to get out of their area. There, the space was long right, had to put it in behind.
Michalak. This is probably just about at the limit for him. And it made him strain.
Got a remarkable kicking style, hasn't he, Freddie Michalak? It's hardly a style, as sort of a bit of Charlie Chaplin and then bang, and it doesn't half fly though. Gee, he can strike a ball.
One for our younger viewers, eh?
That's before my time even. Much better kick from Ford there.
So play on.
Here's Michalak. I see what you mean.
Play on.
No Kane, but he's quick.
Gerardo. Dearsport again. Slimani running a good line. And a good carry as well. Just all France, they're camped inside England's half. No wonder Andy Farrell wants it down there.
Hold here. Stand.
And there it is down there from Mike Brown. But Spedding loves these. Oh, he's just going to check himself and do the sensible thing. Crowd were getting excited. He does love a powerful counter-attack, like Brown, who supplied the kick there.
That was very good play from Spedding. In the first time he got the ball, he ran. Burrell smashed him, but then committed the penalty. This time he just says, I'm not even going to risk it. There you can see the line-outs at the moment. England have problems. French line-out strong. England, well, they've won a couple, but they've hardly won one decent ball. A couple lost. It really isn't good at the moment. Youngs and Laws are not working. Rob Shaw at the front.
Nice and short to the front. Rob Shaw, the captain. Sensible call from England, but Mike Brown can't take that. Knock on. It's been a rough first quarter this for England, but they are still in there, just trailing by 9. It's not the end of the world on the scoreboard, but conceding another score here at the Stade de France would make it quite a long way back.
Oh, you could say that again. I mean, it's a long way back if France hold on to 82% of possession. Good smart play from Rob Shaw. Go to the front and get the ball. It's not a bad move. England pull it round. Mike Brown's got to take that. But Brown, when he picks a line, does fade away from the passer. He needs to be coming straight onto that ball. Ford's ball is begging a fullback to hit it on the angle, but he doesn't. He fades off it, and I think that's why in the end it doesn't look a great pass, but Brown's got to pick a better line than that. England want to play at pace, and that's all well and good. But when things aren't going well and you're 9-0 down, you've got to just make sure that while things aren't happening, you get in the right part of the field, put the pressure on France and get themselves back into this game. At the moment, you'd still feel they're trying to force the game.
Crouch. Bind. Now 2 teams moving. Square up, please. First of all, square up.
Still see those divots on halfway. There's another patch emerged on the far side.
Patience, wait. Crouch. Bind. Sit. Yeah, it's underfoot. Look. Just
Frustrating this.
Yeah.
Just 3 wins for France in their last 11 now against England, following last week's victory for the men in white.
Insider.
Well placed today, though.
Insider.
Take this
Crouch.
as a start. Can France build on it?
Sit.
Oh, it's a powerful scrum, and it's going to get the referee to give another penalty.
Thanks, Graham.
Penalty count hammering England at the moment. Michalak does have the distance. Does determine to go for goal. I'd say it is. You know, you think back to 2003, going into that semi-final, as both Will and Clive will well remember, Michalak was the golden boy in Australia, and Wilkinson blew him out of the water that day when the rain came down, and it just sensed that his career was dribbling away. A spell in Natal gave him a bit of zest. He's back in France, he's back in contention for the World Cup. He's back haunting England now.
Now this a little bit closer in than the one that he missed, and it showed. Kept his rhythm, kept his form. You can see there a bit of strapping around his fractured hand that he injured at the end of last season, but that's okay, and his boot is certainly fine. Clive Woodward.
Yeah, Barnes, just to pick up on Barnes, in 2003 Michalak was the star. It was the England forward pack blew Michalak away, and it's what is happening today. The French forward pack are just blowing England away, and Ford is the equivalent of Michalak all those years ago, but it comes with the forwards, and at the moment we're just nowhere. We're getting absolutely annihilated by this French team.
Thanks, Clive. Now England have a chance to at least get on the board. Soft one from France that. They will not be happy. Chris Robshaw will be.
It was an interesting call there. Ben Young's talking to Chris Robshaw. Robshaw in his early days as captain would have thought 12-0 down, let's go to the corner. But 12-3 with 54 minutes to go is plenty of time, and going for the 3 points is exactly the right decision. This is a kick that Ford gets 99 times out of 100, but he's had a difficult first 25, and he'll feel a lot better if this one goes over.
Well, that was a record against France for an Englishman in that meeting in March, that points fest at Twickenham.
But because the French pack are in such control, England cannot generate the fifth gear that they played in almost all that night, and France are able to handle everything with ease. The pack really has got England in a vice grip. Clive's quite right.
Well, Clive was saying before kick-off, wasn't he, that forwards win World Cups. At the moment, as I was just saying again there live during the game, France all over England up front. England have to sort that, but at least George Ford has this chance to get them on the board. Just about their first visit inside the French 22. Apart from a long kick downfield that was dealt with by Spedding.
Yeah, comprehensively outplayed. There's Jamie George. Pulse going for a second, thinking, here we go, my debut, but not yet. 30 minutes gone. Tom Young's top tackler with 11, which is a credit to Tom Young's, but it's an indictment of the fact that England are getting absolutely blown away. Look at those, the top tacklers there. I don't know if it's their top tacklers overall, but I think they are. Not a Frenchman in sight. They've hardly made a tackle.
I don't think, as a team, France will have got anywhere near what Youngs has done as an individual on the tackle front. But that 3 points has led to a restart mistake from the French, and there you go, just 4 tackles made to England's 54.
It's a 13-to-1 ratio. England 12-3 down. I guess on the balance of the tackles made, England actually have done quite well to just be 9 points down.
Stability.
Now, Ford made the mistake. France got the scrum, put the pressure on, never went backwards. Look at England though, immediately they've got a very aggressive Ford Brown now line straight behind the scrum. Very attacking minded. There you can see it.
Just how the ground holds up there. On the England pack 2, and here they break away to find Knoll. On the outside forward, but that's good tackling by France, and they enjoyed that. Courtney Laws gets a mention. Jonathan Joseph too.
Number 1, collapse. Number 1.
Yeah, it's gone against Eddie Benarous. Referee was playing advantage there for the collapse scrum.
Number 1 collapsing, turning and collapsing.
England went sideways one way, sideways the other, going no way. Second time in this game Eddie Benarous has been done, once for coming in at the angle, second time for collapsing. Very aggressive, but I don't think France at the moment need to do anything than be technically strong, because they do have the edge on England. And Ford going for goal. This goes over, 12-6. England are banging the game and they've been utterly outplayed.
"5 years since that man looked the part when he burst onto the scene in under-20 international terms. Looked the modern prop then, and he's continued into a full international now, 6 cap, but a penalty offence there, and Ford, well, this would be a real bonus for England if he bangs this one over. Mike Catt, his coach, behind. He's got to give it a biff, and that is short. And Spedding slices that a touch. Calls to Ben Youngs. George Ford again, one for Johnny May to chase. Mike Brown as well, both of them after this. Let Michalak drop, and then the mercurial Michalak comes out of that somehow. Rob Shaw was okay. Check with the referee, but you probably heard ball was clearly out. Tiers ball. Brown to Ford. He's got Joseph outside, throws it to him. Only Knoll to Joseph's right. Ben Youngs finds Luther Burrell. Youngs wanted more depth on that. Nakatafi is lethal in those situations, so too Fofana when it breaks up and there's space in front of him, short side. They're wanting to get it back to Nakatafi, I think. Jack Knoll, aware of that, tries to come away, but it's fired up France again. It's fired up the home supporters again.
Missed that, cleaned up. Did not survive.
Ben Youngs again. That goes out, but Picamals will look to keep the tempo high. Michalak to Uge. It's a bit high. A challenge, yes, penalty. Michalak to Bastereau. Out it comes to Launchbury. Tom Young's made another tackle, but it's all to no avail really, because the penalty we knew was coming.
Yeah, you want to review it?
Thierry Desauttoir looking on, looks stern. He's injured at the moment, the French squad captain.
Yeah, perception is just a penalty. Let's just make sure.
It's Chris Robshaw should be looking stern, really. Maybe even more so after this, we shall see.
Screen now.
Yes.
I think it's high, I don't think it's yellow high.
Simon McDowell is our television match official. Vunipola, isn't it?
Well, you can boo all you like, crowd, but that's a penalty, but it's not more. I think Chris Robshaw... let's just see, no call yet. In a million years, that is not a yellow card.
Simon,
Yes.
is that all the angles?
Yes.
From my view, he starts on the shoulder, he slips up high. I'm thinking penalty only.
Correct.
Yeah. He started on the shoulder, he slipped up, so it's a penalty.
Right decision there, but Chris Robshaw has got to think about England's decision making. The reason Uge was just tearing through the middle is Ben Young's made the right decision to get the ball downfield and off the park, but it's all France. England need to get this ball further off the park because they're just allowing Picamole and company to go quickly, and the waves of attack keep coming. There was another earlier kick where England just feed in France and bringing the runners into it, and England are getting stressed out defensively because they're feeding France's counter. Tactically, they're all over the place at the moment.
Yes, it wasn't even a debate for Picamole whether he went quickly there. It was a gift. And another gift for Michalak in this form. Been all the boots, and pretty well all France and Michalak. Spenning got the first one, Michalak low on miss from distance on the angle, but nobody can say that France do not deserve that lead of 15-3 as we approach half-time. Pape, Noel, I think he thought he was going to catch it first time. Board and George Ford, but the chase is good from Nakatafi and Fofana, and Slimani is right up there as well.
Well, the ball went back.
The ball went back in.
That's a break for England. As the French anthem echoes around the ground, their pack will think, yeah, we've deserved that. Really started well, and Tiller's ball, that's just about his first error of judgment. Now what England would give for quick line-out ball and just to get Billy Vunipola over the gain line, get some momentum.
To the tail, from Youngs to find Courtney Laws. England need to try and snatch something here before half-time. Any which way. Vunipola passing into thin air there. Taken away by Leroux. Sautoir himself could not have done that any better. Michalak, chance to go along the line from Shuli to Nakatafi, and Robshaw's there to snuff out that threat. Comes Pape again. They said he'd been a bit sluggish in training. Nothing sluggish about the captain tonight, or indeed his team. He's getting over a minor knock. Michalak just knocks it in behind Jack Noel. No great angle there, and it's just gone straight to the boot of Maestri. England get lucky.
He deliberately played it.
Johnny May, another one of those players who will benefit from the space opening up when mayhem arises. England go to halfway with Burrell.
First flash of Joseph there, lovely feet.
Here's Ford. He can't locate his man. Tom Youngs, who is going through. France have it again. Quick ball here, could be interesting. Here goes Bastereau. Picamoles will look to straighten this. Tackle from Courtney Laws. Nakatafi to Michalak. Gerardo, that's good, got underneath the tackle and kept going. Tiersport, Fofana, Nakatafi. Maybe it's France who get that extra score just before half-time, and that could be a killer for England. But turnover ball, chance here. Jonathan Joseph, ball comes out of the tackle.
There's the ball, Lusty. Hold it. Still advantage.
Now France are tackling there,
Advantage
tackling
over.
with some weight.
Stop.
Again, another one taken back in, so George Ford makes it bounce, and it bounces well. Over Nakatafi, who's going quickly. Jack Knowles there, but Spedding has the angle. This is really taking it out the lungs for both sets of players. George Ford again, digs deep and goes. Nice little shimmy. Jack Knoll cuts back inside, there's an angle for him. And the winger used it. Ben Youngs to George Ford. There's nobody at home at full back. Down again with Marler.
Haskell just ran at the direction of the pass, arms not up. England are not organised in midfield. They're not feeling their way off Ford's passing.
Here they go again with Burrell. Ben Youngs. It's Joe Marler. Youngs again finds Ford. Here's Haskell. Staying on his feet well there until the support arrive. Here's Launchbury. Joseph with that step of his. There's Burrell with that power of his. England at last finding some continuity here. Haskell though stopped, and again the crowd enjoyed the weight of the French tackling. Launchbury's going to get it now. Comes in from Pickamoles. Ben Youngs to Jonathan Joseph. This time England do retain it. Luther Burrell. Just over 2 minutes until the interval. Ben Youngs again. That's Tom Youngs down there. Boot comes in, England get a penalty.
One assumes Chris Robshaw makes this 15-6 because there's still half plus to go, 9 points. All it needs is a try and you're back in the game. Lancaster, Roundtree, Farrell looking on. They will be very disappointed with what they have seen. Individually, France have been physically the more powerful team. Collectively, they have been stronger at the set piece, and England have had no joy at all in the breakdown. On the balance of this first half, you know, Miles, if England do go in 15-6, that's a pretty good return for a very poor 40 minutes. Good as France have been, England have been poor. Their decision-making has not been of a high enough standard.
Got some of that air back in the lungs now, George Ford. After that endless attack, it seemed. Right at the end of it, is the full stop going to be 3 points? It is. From Ford, we will have time to restart.
I think England would be wise to catch this ball and get it off the park, get in 15-6 down. 9 points deficit is not the end of the world. This has not been the 40 minutes England wanted leading towards the World Cup, but if they go in 15-6 down, they still have an opportunity to bounce back.
The end of that first half, they really made them count as well. Aggressive defence. England have a major challenge here.
Accidental. Strong. Thanks, Sonny.
Jacob Piper saying that's accidental, so it's a scrum. There's been a bit of a theme in the last year or so. Any accidental collision seems to be given as a penalty, and it shouldn't. Ford not trying to block Bernard Leroux, so Piper quite right.
The last 3 matches between these two at this venue have been won by 2 points. France have won 2 of them, England 1 of them.
One of the good things for England, France have been the dominant force, but with a 42% win rate under Saint-André, they cannot have the confidence of a winning team. And I think that maybe is a reason why England are still in contention and can still win this game. If they can just exert some power. But at the moment, couple of scrum penalties once against Eddie Benarous, but you just sense France have a little bit more at the moment.
It's done nothing for the blood pressure of the groundsman either, that scrum. Lost another chunk.
I'll come over to the left side.
Saint-André there will be delighted. On his left, Serge Blanco. Patrice Legisquet on his right. A very, very potent back three if they'd played together.
Right, so in play now.
Maybe Serge will be on the crash ball nowadays.
Use that.
Pickamoles. Tearsborn. Bastereau. That's Uge. Great line. Uge. Oh, step two. What a finish that is. That is one of the best wingers finishers you will see. Simple as.
Said earlier in the game he has a habit of hurting England, and he's done it there. Just slashed through them. Beautiful line, and then for a big man his footwork is superb. That's a lovely inside ball there, but Mike Brown done on the inside-outside step. Joseph can't get back to him. Michalak draws Joe Marler. Brown one-on-one, gets hopelessly beaten there. Now can't get back to him. And that is superb play from the right wing, stepping in field.
It's the pace at which it's all done, and Serge Blanco, the great himself, would have been proud of that one.
The French director cut to the back three, perfect timing. 1 minute later, wow, that was a fantastic French score.
And Michalak, an all-important first score in the second half, goes to France, and it was one to savour. Yes, they'll be blowing kisses back to Uge.
If you want.
Well, a few years ago it was deflections off kicks that just bounced up into his hand. This time that was a beautifully worked move, and it has to be said again, Freddie Michalak, uncomplicated but a very fine performance at 10, making it happen around him.
Now, I mentioned those 2-point games. Of course, England have no God-given right to expect victory here at the Stade de France against this French team, as those recent tight games prove. 2 of them belong to France, 1 to England, but at the very least England would have expected, wanted to be close tonight. They are anything but here now, and Jamie George about to be introduced, the Saracens man, into international rugby.
If England believe they're potential world champions, they would be coming here expecting to win. There's no God-given right, but they would expect to beat a team with the atrocious record that France have. What's happening at the moment is just horrendous.
Stolen ball again on the England line out.
Maul.
What a worry that is.
Once.
It simply has to sort itself. It does here in that England get the put into the scrum, but the worry really doesn't go away.
But just the mechanics of the pack isn't working at all. There's been claims that Tom Youngs has sorted out his line out. It's pressure here, and you can see that he hasn't. The decision to leave out Dylan Hartley looks a big one, as we see Jamie George waited to come over his debut, and Danny Kerr, and that's understandable because nothing's happened for Ben Youngs. Kerr can spark a game.
We're losing the Youngs brothers. As off comes Tom at hooker and Ben at scrum half. Danny Kerr, just named as Harlequins' new captain, he becomes England's scrum half, winning his 52nd cap, and for Jamie George it's the first cap. What a year it's been, with that trying for Saracens, the trying the Premiership final at Twickenham, and now his patience rewarded. 25 years of age, had that apprenticeship at Saracens under John Smith.
But what a challenge as well, coming on for your debut, trying to book yourself a place in the World Cup squad with the French pack rampant around the field, dominating the line out. He'll never have a bigger test.
We're told officially the change at hooker is a blood injury.
There's too much movement. Yeah, there's movement from white, movement from blue.
Keyword officially.
Yes, we're told Kieran Brooks' hand injury last week was a head injury.
Yeah, there's a lot of movement.
But Tom Youngs has been spilling a lot of blood tonight in his tackling, which has been exemplary. Not so the throwing, and that is or the communication, whether it's the hooker's fault or not. It is not working at the line out. Whatever the problem is, that needs sorting. England know it.
Oh, I think, yeah, as I said, the whole mechanics of England's pack just not functioning.
Coach! Boy! Sick!
So does this. Penalties. And penalties at the scrum too. England's forwards did not fire last week, and it's not happening this week.
How dare I say, you said, what will Ireland and Joe Smith be thinking watching this French team? Dare I say, in the way England are playing, what will Fiji be thinking?
As the ball goes out, we go to Pat Sanderson on the gain line.
Well, we see some really, really uncharacteristic play from some of the England players. Here we see Vunipola, fantastic opportunity just to take the ball up. He's 20 stone, get over the gain line. He looks to tip it on. Now the other big man who gives them so much go forward, Courtney Laws. Again, just get your head down, get some go forward. He tips it onto Cole, and they lose 2 metres. Big men need to carry hard and get England going forward.
France going forward again here with a good take from Bernard LaRue. Girardo trying to clear Laws out the way. Picamoles wants a free run, but he's got Haskell all over him. England try and break it up. In goes Jamie George, couldn't quite make it on T.S. Bourne.
Leave him! Leave him!
Girardo, France's starting hooker in the Six Nations. T.S. Bourne now knows where it is. So too Picamoles. Pape. England have a chance to put a boot on it.
Is that knock on Johnny? You're right. No. Back of the hand. Use it!
Back it goes to Michalak looking for the drop goal. Mike Brown nervous, but not for long.
16-point margin, the kick doesn't go over. You can see exactly what Michalak was trying to do, just keep that scoreboard going. Very much like his Toulon partner, of course, Johnny Wilkinson.
Here comes try scorer Uge. Didn't make too many friends with his dive against Bath last season, got in trouble for that. Make some friends with his dive over the line today. What a try that was. Here's Johnny May looking to do something brilliant for England. And boy, do they need it. Final half hour. And went Burrell.
That was a good line.
Brave run, wasn't it? Vunipola again. Haskell clears, so does Cole. Kerr out to George Ford. This is tight. Jonathan Joseph with 4 being bumped to the floor off the ball, but he's back on his feet. And Huget goes back, and so too Spedding. And the ball is kind to Spedding.
No great problems for France at the moment. George Ford drifting across. He took the ball left to right. He didn't have the numbers. He needed his Bath mate. Jonathan Joseph just to glide past the odd tackle to keep the attack alive. No real shape at the moment. It's a good line from Burrell. I think, as Pat said, England need the big men to come hard and narrow, just draw the French defence a bit.
Vunipola. Brothers on the bench. Mako, the prop. Yes, England have been penalised when the ball didn't come back.
Short release, come back.
I think that counts as another penalty at the breakdown. It's very different to those sort of New Zealand-Australia games, South Africa-New Zealand, where the breakdown is a battling. No one's really committed itself there. Vulipoli there. It's just about the first time he's made a couple of metres. Nothing's happened off him, has it?
2 more changes. James Haskell. Easter goes to the blind side, I think, or will do when it is a scrum. It's Tiersport to Nakatapi. Man from Clermont. Pickables. Well, he could be one of the stars of the World Cup, Louis Pickables. Pape and Leroux, tackled by opposite number Rob Shaw. Another score for France here, and you'd have thought it would just about kill it. Tiersport, outward hits the deck, knew he was in the way. Good drive, but he's going towards the touchline now, and England win that little battle. Gain line, Pat.
Well, we've had another good look at the French try, and it's a defensive error really from Joe Marler. If we highlight him here, just in behind the ruck, his job really is to stand as first man. He doesn't. He leaves Rob Shaw out to dry. Rob Shaw should have come outside and folded in behind. In doing so, Marler stretches Rob Shaw and Huget goes through the gap. But it all comes down to knowing your job when you come round the corner. You lock in the first man first, and anybody else comes round the corner outside that guard position, as we call it. Poor from Marler and very basic from England.
Another lost ball on the England throw. Jamie Georges come on, didn't quite work. Bastareaud to Nakatapi. England really their own worst enemies when it comes to the set piece tonight. Crossfield kick here could be interesting. Michalak, who's looking for Shuley, and Johnny May better be good here. Nobody makes it. It's falling for Pape. The captain has it. As France go for the kill, defeated at Twickenham last week, looking anything but beaten here tonight in Paris, and looking to get that winning feeling going again. Tiersport, Michalak, they're hanging out wide as Spedding finds Bastareaud. Does he have the chance to pass? Spedding comes round, Joseph can't take it, and the knock-ons end the move. There was a great chance there for France. Bastareaud just couldn't get rid of the ball.
Well, England's lack of confidence is just spreading through the team there. Maestri so quick up there. Johnny May so assured.
England get the penalty, and away goes Danny Kerr. Luther Burrell. Vunipola driving again. Once again, England try and get outside of their own half. A good spell at the start of this second half, but really, during the course of the hour of this match, very little to write home about.
That's a very good kick there from George Ford. No reaction from the crowd, but he made 40 metres and he's just driven France back, because France has just complete control of this game.
Last chance for Messrs Cipriani and 12 Trees to impress. Anyway, it's not a bad time for those two to come on to try and prove that they can lift it, make a change.
Take the line out. Take the line out. Take the line out. Yeah, we'll take the line out. It's off for white hand.
Would have felt like a long wait.
Shut numbers. Trouble.
When they do come on, it can't be that much worse than it has been. This has been, golf parlance, has been way below par, hasn't it? This is Tiger Woods' form at the moment in the majors.
It's a right hack.
Stay there, just stay there. He's going all the time.
As the game went on at Twickenham last week, this is exactly what France did towards the England line. And in other areas of the pitch, they're doing it again. They've won another penalty.
16.
It was moving and England could do little else but pull it down.
I've seen England lose plenty of rugby internationals, but it's quite a while since I've seen them so comprehensively outplayed up front. You know, in terms of both power and technique, France have really done with England what they've wanted. I can't think of England. I think England won about one line-out that was as good as that one from Nauru. Everything has been a struggle for for England. Everything has been easy for France.
Everybody has their theories about what may or may not happen in the World Cup, but I think a line you hear quite often at the moment is that England, whatever happens, will be very hard to beat. And France have had it all their own way tonight as Antonio comes on to join their front row, and on come the aforementioned Cipriani, and 12 trees as away go Burrell and May.
Well, home teams have a fine record at the World Cup. They go well, but England will have to be a lot better than this. Oh,
and through goes Nyanga. Another big hole found. It was inventive, it was clever. It caught England on the hop. And here's Bastereau to try and make it count. England are scrambling here.
Lots of point advantage, number 8.
Another penalty. Free play then for Tiersport to find Michalak. As he does. And Spedding, nothing coming.
Number 8, on the ground, playing the ball.
Now will France really look to turn the screw? What's the call here from Pape?
France being France, you take 3 points. Grind them down. That would be the French way, I would think.
It's Pape's way.
And yeah, the second go.
They're winning some great line-out ball, aren't they? Front, middle, back. Work that beautifully, and Nyanga so athletic. Straight. Such a good line-out forward, such an intelligent forward. And Nyanga, we know about his pace.
All over Spedding there. Here comes Debati. Strong last week again. Strong start here. Michalak to Uge. Gets away from 12 trees initially. The Gloucester man gets back at him. Michalak again. That's Shuli to Antonio. Michalak to Bastereau. And Spedding there on hand to keep it going. Here's Fofana. Oh, that's interesting. Where's this one going to break? Mike Brown read it well, just as well. With 3 French players arriving, including Fofana, the kicker. Mike Brown. Counter-attack over halfway. His club colleague at Harlequin's care gets it along the England line from Ford and 12 trees, and Rob Shaw and Vunapola. How much is left in these English legs? Well, the replacements should be fine, and Easter is one of them.
Lovely pass there from Ford.
Care another. This is Joseph. Kicked away to Spedding, who gobbles that one up. Will France consider the counter-attack? Tiersport is lining up for the kick. He's had enough running around for a moment.
Well, that's the first half when England were under the cosh. That's what England should have been doing, not going for 30 metres, go for 15 and just take the pace out of the game. Lovely delay from George Ford, the first time we've seen it. But it's interesting, Nick Easter's one of the most intelligent rugby players in England, and he was able to read Ford's play there. Jonathan Joseph screaming for a penalty. I don't think there was anything in it. Big performance from Pascal Papé today. And that man Bastareaud. Overpowered England.
Fiku comes on, brings back bad memories for England with that late try in 2014. Foncard is on for Papé, Shuley is the new captain, and here go England with Cipriani and Noel. Kerr. Here's Joseph. Mako Vunipola. Shuley the new skipper, let him go in the end. Just had too much, that's George Ford with a little fade. Cipriani with a little pass, doesn't find the hands of 12 trees, but it's found Mike Brown. England's still going on.
Leave it up.
And Kerr's with him. Noel again, England Nakatathi. This is 12 trees. Kerr, Easter. Boot out of the hands of the scrum half. And it's adjudged to be a knock-on. Nothing going for England here.
Second time England have been in a ruck situation and the ball has been knocked out of the hand by an own play. Oh, sorry, once was an ankle in the first half. That time, you can see there's the boot. Just Danny Kerr's very upset there because that looked like a French Adidas boot. They got away with that one. But England have not been generally clearing out breakdowns. They've made it very difficult for their half-backs to get this game going, generate any sort of pace.
Remy Tales comes on for Freddie Michalak. On my reckoning, got himself up 17 points, Michalak. So it's nearly getting Dimitri Yashvili's record for a Frenchman in one match against England, but he's got the all-time record. Nailed that tonight. Nailed a lot of things.
He played very well.
Coming up, we should say that in a couple of weeks' time, England play their final warm-up match. QBE International's pre-World Cup. It's against Ireland. It's on Sky Sports 1, and we start at 2 o'clock. And the England squad will be known long before then. Deadline August the 31st. We'll know sometime during the course of next week. Stuart.
We were just talking about Michalak and how well he's played today. The little inside pass caught Marler out and set up Uge for the try. I wonder if on the 5th of September it'll be another fly half that tormented them in recent times. Johnny Sexton, who was absolutely mesmeric in Dublin last season. That, of course, could be a very big game. England, a potential semi-final with Dublin, but one has to reiterate on the balance of England's performance today. They got to beat Fiji first and then start thinking about Wales and Australia. And I'm sure they'll be enjoying this game in the Valleys.
Number 17, hinging.
England's turn for a penalty at the scrum, so that's a bit of relief. That's what World Cups are about. You just play the next game in front of you, don't you? They're not too far ahead. Not in that pool, certainly.
Now, what England have to do here, set themselves up for the World Cup. It's been a horrible day. They've got to hit their man in the line out and blitz through France, drive them over. World Cup, teams will be looking for catcher drives from 5 metres. England need to start scoring. As Tillis Board goes, I think he has cemented himself as number 9 for France, which means Morgan Parra will not be there. He can't be the goal kicker, so it looks like Tillis Board and Michalak are going to be France's number 1 half-back to start the tournament.
It's pretty clear it's what Philippe Saint-André wanted. I think he got his wish. Look at that back line tonight. Looked like the first choice back line for France. Now it's all about the French forwards in defence here as England go to try and get something out of this match. Robshaw grimacing. And Kerr feeds. And out it comes now to Cipriani. He's got Brown outside. Cipriani through. Makes his mark. And the time that is available, Danny Cipriani gets his name on the scoreboard as a try scorer.
Well, we know Cipriani's a rapier. Do you know what? The first time in 70 minutes, the England pack and a few backs in helping along have driven France backward, and they have been able to suck the blue shirts into the ball, and that creates the space that we haven't seen when England have tried to go wide today. France sucked in, 3 men there around Danny Care. The little delay from Ford is beautiful, and Cipriani, little chip step there, beautiful. Check and go. But England, first time the pack have really drawn the French into them.
They've levelled the try count at least, and George Ford gets a conversion. 25-13. But England get another score here. Put a lot of gloss on it, wouldn't it?
Well, that's what England's backs can do if they get the right sort of ball, but they haven't had the right sort of ball, and therefore, because of that, they played the wrong sort of ambitious rugby. It's the old Campo goose step there, isn't it? And Uge is a good defender, but Cipriani's got a change of pace, and he's put on a bit of power too, and he's through spedding, and that's a fine finish.
Through spedding, looks like not an easy thing to do.
18, stop.
Had the momentum, but Cipriani used it to full advantage there. Spedding puts it high. France will want to remove this English gloss. They will feel it has been emphatically their night, and they will want that reflected in the final score. Jonathan Joseph. Care. Ford. Robshaw knew the importance of that rolling ball just short of that French line. It's written all over the face of the England captain. It's a penalty. Ford to touch. Uge was interested, but it had too much. It's a good one.
Fair dues to Ford. It was a poor kick at the start of the game, and it didn't put England on the right foot. He had to go for that one, and Uge's fingertips were achingly close, but that's a cracking kick from George Ford. Now, if Jamie George can find his man again, England will look to try and put another drive on. They score a try here. Some more miracles, you never know.
Here's a little moment for Jamie George. Bit of pressure on here. England looking to try and get back into things. It's a good line out from England. It's George Ford. 12 trees took the attention. Joseph took the ball. In went Fico. Now it's back with Danny Care. England getting moving at last tonight in Paris. Care again. Ford once more. Here's Cipriani. Jonathan Joseph. Who's not releasing there? Joseph the ball, the tackler on the floor, while the referee has given England the put in.
Must say though, England a great attacking situation. They get the scrum, but they didn't put the bodies in there to knock the French shirts off it, to give themselves a chance to play with some continuity. Look at this, how few people are going into that breakdown area. You know, if that's Australia, you've got 3 or 4 forwards flying in there. England just getting no one there. Backs have been a lot sharper. They've looked a lot sharper in the last 5 minutes. Is it because France at 25-6 thought it was over, or is it because England have just got a little bit of momentum up front? You've seen the delayed pass of Ford. He works well with Cipriani wide. England mustn't throw all the talent that they've got behind the scrum away on the back of one game. What they've got to do is work out how their pack doesn't get comprehensively outplayed like this, and how the backs use the ball effectively and intelligently.
5 minutes left. Win will feel so good for France, having just got those 2 Six Nations victories against the bottom 2 as well, Scotland and Italy.
Very interesting lineup here. George Ford right behind the scrum. Billy 12 trees much flatter. Brown behind him. Lots of innovation.
Few places left really to have a scrum. Vunipola on the blind side, by the way. Easter at 8.
Great hands, Nick Easter. Will England use them, try and produce something off those fringes?
Kerr, 12 trees. Oh no. Not a great deal of that from here. You could just see it was not going to work. Malanga brings it away to find Uge for France. Cockett takes on England, who are trying desperately to get back in their defensive positions. Bati's lost it now. Atwood. It's there for Kerr. George Ford. Cipriani. I think it's all but done. England trying to have the last say here. Easter did well. 37 years of age now.
He and Atwood have carried quite well for him, the pair of them.
Ben Morgan just had 40 minutes last week on his comeback, feeling a bit stiff and sore. But an important little cameo here from Easter. Ford, Cipriani, here comes Vunipola, Mike Brown, man on the outside is Jonathan Joseph, and England are going to get in again, are they? Yes, they are. Joseph, just before the end. Even more gloss.
Some nice play there again from England. It takes me back to Dunedin when they were being absolutely hammered, and then they came back again. The delay, the quality of the passing is very good there. Mike Brown draws his final man well, and Joseph eases down and then just accelerates. Super play, that little step inside from Brown just gives Joseph the chance there. And amazingly, England have a chance to, if this goes over or not, certainly not lose. 2 minutes for a 7-pointer.
England's second try. France's was a beauty, Uge, but another for England. Here's Ford with the conversion. That looks really good. Beauty. Well, 5 points in it.
He hasn't been at his best, but he has kicked absolutely everything. No question about his goal kicking. Well, this would be an insult to the hit-and-run industry if England did get a try and won this. But you never know. Those guys will be hoping. They'll also be delighted, Miles. The scoreline 25-20. They can go away and they can work with that, and they can say, hey, look at the last 10 minutes, how we came back into that.
Absolutely. Makes a big difference. Maybe not to the result, but maybe it will. The result, quite amazingly, is in the balance here. Cipriani to Ford. Shades of Twickenham now in March when England were trying everything from everywhere. Robshaw sets it back. Kerr. Something special from here, really would. That's Courtney Laws. Danny Kerr steps in again. He's looked really sharp since he's come on. Cipriani once more, 12 trees. Billy Vunipola stayed the course. Hits hard there in the challenge. Vunipola, the dying embers of the game. England deep inside their own half. Robshaw, Knoll. Good carry from Knoll. The tension has to be spot on, and it is. Kerr. Half-backs, Ford and Kerr combining again. Davy Wilson hits the ruck. England outside their 22 at last. 12 trees. And still, nobody wants to give that rush final pass that drops the ball and ends the game. England keeping their concentration. Cipriani takes them on with George. Good work between those two. Cipriani knew it was on there. England have got an advantage. 12 trees. Won't be able to get this one off the field. They could tap and run. Allows England just to breathe again and form the line.
Bench have done well, you know, Mako Vunipola, but in particular Cipriani, Easter and Atwood. Excellent.
Billy Vunipola, brother Mako's going with him. Inside the French half now. Kerr, Cipriani. And really well since he came on, Cipriani. Atwood as well. Kerr to Easter. Oh, it's really tight in there now. Vunipola again. Crowd trying to lift their team. They're a bit worried now, the French supporters. They really are. Surely can't lose again, can they? Getting to that French 10-metre line. Here's Ford. Courtney Laws. Great concentration this from England, and having the bodies to go with it. The physical effort here is mammoth. Robshaw, be midnight by the time we finish. 12 trees on his own. Back goes Knoll. Oh, can he get out of this? It's going to need to be good footwork. Where's the support? Referee takes a look, but it's coming back. Ford. Courtney Laws again. And somebody just find a gap. Danny Kerr to George Ford. That's beautifully done. Flat as you like. Nick Easter took it in his stride. Kerr to Ford to Cipriani. And Cipriani wasn't held. He's entitled to do that. They'll be up to the 22 soon. Mako Vunipola. That ball's going nowhere. In comes a boot from Debati. Ford. Jamie George. Shows his Saracens form there all right. In goes Easter. In comes George Ford. Now we're entitled to get excited. In range of the French lines. Kerr to Billy Vunipola. What a finish to this match. 3 minutes of extra time. It comes back. France have got it off the field. Brave, really brave from England, but they would admit over the whole of the game, Chris Robshaw's side did not deserve the win, but hey, if you're in front when the music stops, you'll take it, and England nearly were. But for France, they get their revenge for last week, and they get their much-needed win. Boy, did they have to win with all the recent defeats. And this victory is bound to form a major part of their self-assurance going into the World Cup. But England, right at the end, showed themselves the way to go too, and they will feel a lot better than they would have done 20 minutes ago.
Well, that's an important building block for France, definitely. Self-belief has been so low. That win against England will have lifted them. As for England, let's not kid ourselves. The last 10 minutes was undoubtedly gloss on what had been a very gory 70 minutes performance. What made the difference? The difference made was when the forwards started to carry tight, when Atwood and Easter pounded through the middle. For 70 minutes, I think Pat made the point, the big forwards were offloading all the time. They weren't committing Frenchmen. French kept their shape. When England got the white hammer going and drove into them, England got in the game. Cipriani looked dangerous coming wide. Suddenly Ford looked the class act that we know he is. It could have been also different had England started as they finished. The one good thing that comes out of it, apart from the last 10 minutes, will be the lesson to learn. We have to be more direct. England have to commit defenders, and then they can go. A poor performance, they might have got away with some real consolation and a lesson learned, and that possibly in the end of it all, Miles, will be the key point from this game for England.
France proved again they can light up any match, as Uche did. That's why they will always be feared, and Picamol's another big game from him. But England can't walk away with a win from this challenging venue. As we said, something at the end there to build on. The previous 65-70, well, they will want to forget it, but within that, they can't afford to forget it. They know that, because there are some lessons to learn, not least the line out that has to be sorted, and other issues too.
Well, it was England by 5 last week at Twickenham. Tonight at the Stade de France, it is France by 5. But over the course of the 160 minutes, who do you think will take more from it? So Clive Woodward is alongside. We're going to ask you first things first about England. Where are they, do you think, on their journey towards the World Cup?
Well, today could be a big wake-up call. I mean, I think they came with a little bit of complacency and forgot this was a test match against France. And, you know, we have to be very, very clear. The line out on the scrum didn't go well for that first 65 minutes. You can't win here, can't win anywhere against the top sides unless that goes well. In saying that, they've got to understand this was a rehearsal for the World Cup. I think they look a bit tired, which could be they're training very hard. They are trying to peak in a month's time, not today. So they've got to be positive. Stuart with his team in there, you know, we've come to France, we lost by 5 points in the end. In the last 10 minutes, yeah, it's you know, there's a lot they've got to take out of that, and they've got to say, you know, they've got to be able to play the game. But if the forwards don't front up, you can't win these games. As simple as that.
How loud do you think the alarm bells are within the England setup off the back of what